is here, no tears, no dramatic crying out. The internal system just checked the gauges and located an absolute beautiful zero. The power grid is officially powered down for the season. Watch the automated consciousness slide into the gray.
Flatline to the floor, the ultimate configuration of the psychological war. I look at the sunlight filtering directly through the blind, and completely irrelevant variable to the working mind. They want me to care about the drama, care about the scene, but I am functioning strictly like a cold clinical machine. The gauge is reading empty, the gauge is reading flat, trapped inside the center of where the dark matter sat. A maximum security isolation happening inside the chest, an absolute eternal non-stop neurological stress test. I don't feel the motivation, don't feel the standard drive. Doing the bare minimum requirements to stay alive. The infrastructure is frozen, the circuits are all dead. A heavy cloud of static exhaust filling up the head. You can scream in my face, you can tell me a joke. The entire dashboard of the ego turned to heavy smoke. No poetry available, the calculation is secure. The coldest demonstration that is unyielding and pure.
Check the pulse rate, need to read zero. Check the pulse rate, need to read zero. The power grid is dark across the perimeter line.
The circuit is cold.
The sickest accountability that was ever explicitly told.
No high emotions.
The reality is stone.
Standing in the center of the reckoning alone.
The neon is burned
The
out.
platform is flat.
Locking down the blueprint.
Right where I sat.
Core temperature dropping. Dopamine reserves not found. Maintain the current level of absolute numbness.
Turn the bass up. I force the feet to hit the floor, walking like a drone, navigating the parameters of the architectural zone. The people passing by me are just shadows on the wall, indifferent to the trajectory of the structural fall. The environment is freezing, the indicators stay bright. Sovereign, independent executioner in middle of night.
Check the pulse rate, need to read zero. Check the pulse rate, need to read zero.
12 of the cycle. I'm sitting in a room full of noise, but the transmission is blank. They are talking about their goals, their passions, their internal fire. But my engine room has completely evacuated the heat. It's a beautiful, cold-blooded state of absolute protection. If you don't feel anything, nothing can touch the chassis. Increase the RPM. Sitting in the corner with a completely vacant stare, operating flawlessly from the middle of nowhere. The conversations bounce right off the titanium skin. No capability of letting emotional static inside win. They think I'm being distant, think I'm playing the game, but I have permanently linked the letters on my name. From the concept of the happiness, the concept of the dread, and absolute equalization happening inside the head. The metrics are entirely flat, the voltage is secure. The ultimate defensive shield, unyielding and pure. I look at the old photographs, look at the old track. There is absolutely zero desire for me to head back. The numbness is a fortress, the numbness is a wall, preventing the remainder of the infrastructure to fall. They try to spark a reaction, try to push on the nerve, failing to deviate the trajectory of the baseline curve. I am automated with it, I execute the daily task, frozen inside the configuration of a concrete mass. No chemical highs available, no psychological lows. The hardest documentation that the matrix explicitly knows. The availability is zero, the clearance level is none. Completely insulated from the heat of the summer sun. I am the independent auditor of my own breakdown grid, locking the filing cabinets on everything I did.
Turn the volume off, blank out the display. Turn the volume off, blank out the display. The communication line is dead across the board today. Zero emotion, the shield is in place. A permanent fortress, frozen on the face. The metrics are sharp, the data is cold. The heaviest isolation that was ever explicitly told. No more accessibility, the system is hard.
The supreme commander of the internal guard.
Status check, unresponsive to external stimuli. The internal armor has fully reached its target density. Moving directly to the power grid analysis.
I watch them trade their energy for a temporary clout, while I am systematically shutting the entire system out. The circuit breakers are blown, the wires are fried, and absolute siren protection on the internal inside. The concrete is cold, but my boots hit the pavement firm, dictating the final alignment of the operational term.
Turn the volume off, blank out the display. Turn the volume off, blank out the display. The communication line is dead across the board today. Zero emotion, the shield is in place. A permanent fortress, frozen on the face. The metrics are sharp, the data is cold. The heaviest isolation that was ever explicitly told. No more accessibility, the system is hard.
The supreme commander of the internal guard.
The primary switches are being flipped down in sequence. Substation 1, offline. Substation 2, dark. The digital grid of my brain is systematically pulling the plugs. They think it's a crisis. They think it's a failure event, but it's a controlled blackout. If you don't feed the network, the predators can't track your location. Brace for total darkness!
Pulling down the heavy levers on the master switchboard, terminating the connection to the external mosh pit war. The main transformer is sparking a brilliant white flash as the entire capability of communication starts to crash. The power grid is dark, the grid is a silent space, eradicating the final lines of expression from the face. I am the independent engineer of this tactical shutdown play, burning the remaining traces of the standard matrix away.
He needs to be operational, he needs to produce the code.
While I am monitoring the cooling vents before the pipes explode. No extra current passing through the line layout. The absolute sovereign controller of the single path out. The environment is freezing, the air is turning to lead. A beautiful monument of quiet sitting inside the head. They want the animation, want the performance show, but the numbers have flatlined to the absolute lowest low. I sit in the shadows of the machinery room floor, sipping the cold water, locking down the iron door. You cannot manipulate a circuit that has no voltage flow. The absolute textbook layout that the corporate fakes know. The infrastructure is dark, the pillars are solid stone. The supreme commander operating entirely securely alone. No light remaining in the cockpit, the gauges are all flat. Sovereign independent operator right where I say.
Flip the switch down, cut the voltage out. Flip the switch down, cut the voltage out. The entire matrix network has officially met its match.
The power grid, the reckoning is dark. The absolute destruction of the motor-ish spark. No current running, the trajectory is flat. Locking out the codes right where I sat. A fortress of lead,
A matrix of gray.
watching the illusions entirely wash away. Grid saturation 0%. The darkness isn't a trap, it's a sanctuary. The diagnostic is finished, moving to the final alignment. I watch the needle settle on the bottom baseline pin, refusing to let a single micro drop of the validation inside when the chassis is completely insulated from the external heat, delivering the perfect definition of your total defeat. Sovereign independent entity, taking custody of the whole. The absolute termination of the corporate mind control.
Switch down, cut the voltage out. Flip the switch down, cut the voltage out. The entire matrix network has officially met its match.
The power grid, the reckoning is dark. The absolute destruction of the moody-ish spark. No current running, the trajectory is flat. Locking out the codes right where I sat. A fortress of need,
A matrix of grade,
watching the illusions entirely wash away.
The system is entirely stabilized at 0. My thoughts aren't racing. My chest isn't heavy with panic. Everything has solidified into a single massive piece of solid lead. You wanted to see me break under the emotional load? You can't fracture an entity that has completely turned off the nerve endings. Continuous insulation, final alignment of the numb machine.
locked in the core. The heavy-duty structural dreams, the baseline is secure. The perimeter is airtight and tight. I am the absolute dictator of the midnight night. The ledger is balanced, the canvas is heavy in gold. The hardest survival story ever explicitly told. Wiping the remaining traces of your matrix completely away. Operating flawlessly in the center of the new day.
Freeze the frame down. Turn the lights out. Freeze the frame down. Turn the lights out. The emotional architecture has officially collapsed to zero.
Solidly, the infrastructure reigns, breaking completely cold out of the historical chain.
I took all your matrix, I poured it to the crowd.
Watching your cardboard empire officially collapse down.
From system worker to the monarch architect stone, I conquered the landscape completely alone.
I turn the screen off, I step away from the device grid layout. The absolute masterful execution of my personal pathway out. The air is clean now, the network static has left the space, no longer requiring the fake professional presentation face. The machinery has stalled, the assembly line is at zero, no capability remaining for you to play the false hero. The track is concluding, but the absolute independence stays strong. The final definitive statement of the chemical flatline song.
Solidly, the infrastructure reigns,
Breaking completely cold out of the historical chain.
I took all your matrix, I formed it to the crowd.
Watching your cardboard empire officially collapse down.
From system worker to the monarch architect stone, I conquered the landscape completely alone. System shut down, complete. Circuit isolated. Case closed.